Our story today starts with a kid who's standing there fighting with the guard, and he thinks the dude's straight up lying to people. He says the guard's just watching over some abandoned place, and the fight between them gets real heated. Then this guard starts threatening to call the cops on him, and he tells the kid to just leave real quiet. Right after that, the kid waits for the perfect time, and he bolts out of there fast. He jumps over the fence, and he keeps running until he gets to this super cool city that's lit up everywhere. As soon as he steps into the market, he's blown away by all the crazy stuff in there. That's 'cause it's the first time he's ever seen stuff like this, or even knew it existed. The thing that catches his eye the most is this beautiful girl standing there selling flowers. But before he can even get close to her, he's shocked to find out she's a servant for an old lady who ain't got no mercy and is super mean. So he just has to buy a flower from her, and he asks her to pick one out herself. So she gives him a real special kind of flower, and she tells him it brings good luck to whoever has it and keeps him safe. He figures out she's the daughter of a rich man, but unfortunately, they kidnapped her and sold her into slavery. And the woman who bought her is so messed up that she tied her leg with a rope. And get this, the rope's even magic. It's impossible to untie unless the witch dies. So Dunstan's bummed because he can't help her out, and he feels really bad for her. We find out that nobody even knows this city exists because it's hidden, and the guard at the gate was doing his job well. He managed to protect the magical kingdom all these years. That day, Dunstan goes back home to England, and he thought everything went fine without any drama. But all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, someone knocks on his door. This is 9 months after that day, and he finds a little baby girl standing there, brand new. He doesn't know that this is the start of his big adventure, and that his whole life's about to change. 18 years pass after all that went down, and the kid grows up to be a super handsome young man named Tristan. Without getting into how he was raised, we're gonna see him as a grown-up guy, and he's gonna be a brave dude with a life full of challenges. He was always trying to get close to the love of his life, but unfortunately, Victoria always treated him like her servant, and she was always taking advantage of him. She rolls up to his job and convinces him to drop everything he's doing and see what she needs first. That's 'cause she's in a hurry and she can't stand in a long line. She even makes him deliver her order right to her front door. Because of her, he gets canned from his job and he loses everything. He has to go to his father, and he tells him everything that happened and how Victoria's always pushing him away and treating him like crap. The weird thing is his dad encourages him to stick with it and keep trying until he really wins her heart, since he loves her and he can't forget about her. The next day he goes to her house and asks her out for dinner. He promises her he'd do anything to make her happy, just to prove to her that he loves her. But sadly, she just laughs at him, and she ends up getting engaged to some other dude who's way tougher than him, and Tristan looks real weak next to him. That's when he gets put in a really bad spot, and he wishes the ground would just swallow him up. He has no idea that all of this is nothing compared to what's about to happen to him later on. Then we go to another place, up in a tall castle, and we see King Stormhold. He's real sick and dying, and the decision he's about to make is going to change Tristan's life forever. The king asks to speak to his 4 princes right away. They are Primus, Secundus, Tertius, and Septimus. This family's known for always fighting over who's going to rule and get the throne. They have a ton of drama between them. The king admits to him that he killed 12 of his brothers just so he could sit on that throne, and he did a whole bunch of messed up stuff. To prove it to him, he calls out Secundus, and he tells his brother to toss him out of the window, and the brother just gets rid of him real easy. We find out they have a sister, a princess named Una, but unfortunately she got kidnapped years ago, and nobody knows anything about her. To choose which one of them will be the king, he gives him a test. He throws his pendant up in the air, and whoever catches it will be the new king. All of a sudden, the pendant flies away all by itself, and it goes outside the castle. It hits a star in the sky, and it falls back down to earth in a super strange way. By chance, Tristan sees the star fall into the ground. Victoria was sitting right there with him, and just to mess with him, as usual, she decides to pressure him. She says she'll marry him if he can bring her that fallen star as a gift for her birthday. He's shocked by her request. That's 'cause there's only 1 week left until her birthday, and that's a super hard thing for him to do. So she warns him she's gonna marry her fiancé if he fails the test, and he has to leave her alone forever and forget about her. He doesn't know that he ain't alone in this, 'cause there are 3 witches looking for that star too, and they want to get to it any way they can. That's because it can make them young again. They're super old now. We meet the witches Lamia, Mormo, and Impusa. They remember their magic candle they used to travel anywhere in seconds. But they find out it's all busted now, and that's why one of them had to travel there on foot to look for the star and bring it back. They do a few rituals before she leaves to boost her power a little. They use the last bit of energy from an old star they had, and she completely changes how she looks. At the same time, Tristan goes to the same place his dad went all those years ago. And the guard, of course, tries to stop him. This time, the guard learned his lesson, and he's ready for any funny business. He tries everything to keep him from getting across. But in the end, the kid just can't do it. He goes home super bummed out, and he tells his dad everything that happened. And for the first time, he finds out who his mom is. Dunstan gives him a few gifts to keep, and also his mom's flower with a magic necklace, and her last letter. He also gives him the same magic candle that can let him travel anywhere real easy. The kid is amazed by all the stuff he has. The minute the star falls to the ground, a strange girl appears right next to it, and before she can even wake up, Tristan shows up right there, and he bumps into her by accident. He's confused because he got there. He says he was holding the candle, and at the same time, he was thinking about the star and his girlfriend Victoria. He thinks she might be his mom, but she shocks him when she says she's the star that fell from the sky, and her name's Yvain. Tristan gets really upset because he won't be able to keep his promise and take the star. He keeps thinking about what he's gonna do, and he's scared of losing Victoria. That's why he ties Yvain up with a rope, and he's determined to take her to Victoria himself. Yvain, of course, says no, and she starts fighting with him. At the same time, back at the castle, the brothers keep competing for the throne, and sadly, two of them kill their third brother. So the competition's easier between them, and since Septimus is the toughest of them, he's determined to be the king, and he thinks he deserves the job more than anybody. He looks for the pendant everywhere, and the witches start getting ready. They prepare Lamia for her trip. At the same time, Tristan manages to convince Yvain to travel with him. He promises her that as soon as she meets Victoria, he'll give her the candle, so she can get back here real easy. The next morning, the witches, Tristan, and Yvain all hit the road. By chance, Lamia runs into a young man on the road, and she manages to turn him into a goat, and she makes him drive her carriage. A little while later, she runs into the woman who used to sell flowers, since she's a witch too, and she used to torture Tristan's mom every day. Lamia asks her for the food they agreed on, and the witch wishes she could find the star before all of them, so she can use it for herself and win the competition. Lamia gets super mad at her, and she suddenly turns into her real self, and she throws a big curse on the witch. She makes it so she can't get any info about the star, and she won't even recognize it even if it shows up right in front of her. At that time, Tristan was trying to get back to the wall, and Yvain suddenly gets tired from all the walking, and she asks him to rest for a bit. He keeps her tied to him with the rope so she doesn't run away from him. Somewhere else, Septimus kills a fortune teller who was helping his brother Primus get the throne, and he takes the magic stone he had. Lamia does the same thing, just standing in her spot using her magic. At night, she gets to the area she needs to be, and she's shocked to find the place empty. She goes back to her sisters, and she's super angry, and they both start blaming her. They think she didn't stick to the rules, and that's why the plan failed. So Lamia starts turning the goat back into a human, and she decides to turn the man into a woman so she can help her with her plan, and she conjures up a whole house with magic. A few hours later, Yvain wakes up, and she sees a unicorn right in front of her. The weird thing is it unties the rope and helps her escape, and cause she's scared of Tristan, she decides to get away from him fast before he notices. He's shocked when he finds out what happened, and he tries to catch up to her, but sadly he can't find a trace of her, and he finally just falls asleep because he's so exhausted. All of a sudden, he has this weird dream, and the star warns him about the witches who kill stars, and they take their hearts to use in their magic. They ask him to look for someone from the Stormhold family, and he has to protect that person no matter what. A little while later, he sees a carriage passing by, and Primus is inside it. He bumps into the carriage on purpose, so they'll have to stop for him, and the plan actually works. At first, Primus refuses to help him, but when he mentions the star, he of course agrees to take him along. He has no idea that Yvain fell into Lamia's trap, and she ended up at her magic house, and they got to know each other, assuming she's just nice and wants to help, nothing more. She offers her a place to rest until the morning, and she treats her so nicely that she'd never suspect her for a second. She doesn't know that this is all a trap, just so she can easily take her heart without any problems. A little while later, Prince Primus arrives at the same spot, and he asks for an empty room where he might rest. And he goes straight to the bathroom, and he falls into the trap too. Lamia offers him food and drinks, and he remembers what happened to Septimus, and he gets scared. And he refuses to eat or drink anything at all. He asks her to give the drink to Tristan instead of throwing it away. And by chance, he gets to know Yvain, without suspecting that she's the star he's looking for. At the same time, the ghosts of the princes were watching everything that was happening, and they knew the whole truth. A little while later, the drink gets to Tristan, and all of a sudden, the unicorn attacks him, and it quickly knocks the drink to the ground. It turns out there was poison in it, and Tristan runs fast inside to warn Primus. But unfortunately, it's too late. Lamia finishes him off in seconds, and he finds himself surrounded from every direction. At that moment, a big mess breaks out in the place, and he waits for the right moment. He grabs Yvain, and he uses the candle, and they teleport to a safe place in seconds, before Lamia can finish them off too. And cause each of them was thinking of a different place, they find themselves teleported to an empty space, and there's no one around them. By chance, they're fighting, and they fall into a trap set by one of the hunters. He takes them to a ship where the captain's named Shakespeare, and he starts asking them a few questions, just to understand what they're doing in a place like this. And when they refuse to talk, he keeps them locked in the trap all night long. The next morning, Septimus is super happy when he finds out his last brother is dead. And the only problem he has left is that he needs to find the pendant fast. He arrests the man that Lamia used in her plan, and he forces him to tell him everything he knows in detail, and he decides to take him with him while he looks for the pendant. And he's determined to be the king no matter the cost. At the same time, the three witches are super upset. That's because Lamia failed to bring the star, and she also lost the magic dagger, so she has to go back to her sisters fast, so they can find a solution together. And of course, they both keep blaming her for everything that happened, and they think she should never go out alone again. That's because Septimus is definitely looking for her everywhere. At that time, Tristan starts getting closer to Yvain, and they both get attached to each other, and they try to find a way to get out of the situation they're in, no matter what. A little while later, the captain comes in to talk to them again, and he pressures them to tell the truth, and he decides to throw Tristan off the ship alone if they refuse to talk again. Tristan admits that he's from England, and of course the captain doesn't believe him, and he gets more annoyed with him. The weirdest thing is he comes up with a plan to look good in front of the crew. He pretends to throw Tristan off the ship, and he starts torturing Yvain, and he makes her scream really loud. In the end, he treats both of them really nicely, and he gives them clean clothes, and he tells them he loves England very much, and he loves its people. And he admits to them that he's super bored with his job, and the role he has to play all the time, pretending to be a cruel person that everyone has to be scared of all the time. That's because he has to stay in charge of the ship all the time. Tristan's really happy with his personality, and he thanks him for agreeing to help him and believe in him, and he starts telling him about his dad and how much he loves him and is attached to him. A few hours later, the ship docks somewhere, and they go down to sell their goods. And by chance, the same witch is there. Then someone tells the captain about the rumors that a star fell to the ground, and it turns out the captain knows the whole truth, and he's hiding it from everyone to keep Yvain safe. When he goes back to the ship, they're all shocked that Tristan is still alive, and Tristan introduces them to the crew, saying he's his nephew, and he gives Yvain to him as a gift. He does all this, of course, so the crew will believe and be convinced they're supposed to be on the ship. Days go by like this, and Tristan learns all the fighting skills from them. At the same time, Yvain learns music and dancing, and they also go hunting with the rest of the crew, and they work on everything on the ship. No one knows that everyone is looking for them, and they have enemies everywhere. By chance, Lamia finds out about the ship situation, and she starts suspecting him. She uses the man in front of her, and she gets all the info she needs from him. Then, she puts a spell on him that makes him unable to talk. A few days later, Septimus talks to him, and he thinks he's making fun of him, and he gets really mad at him, and he decides to kill him. At that time, Tristan finally reaches the closest city to the wall with Yvain, and they find out they'll only need to walk a short distance. Before they leave, Tristan talks to Shakespeare quietly, and Yvain keeps watching them from afar, curious, want to know what they're saying. A few hours later, the news reaches Lamia, and she finds out the ship arrived near the market, and that means the star is real close to them, and she starts chasing them everywhere. As soon as they see her carriage coming from far away, they quickly hide before she notices. And for the first time, it's clear he's actually into her, and he can't hide something like that. At that time, Septimus manages to find the ship's location, and by chance, it's the crew's break time. Even the captain is resting in his cabin. A big fight breaks out between the two sides until they get to the captain's spot. After all that, he can't get any useful info, and he runs away in the end. And the captain gets hurt, and he's really upset about what happened. And the whole crew sees who he really is and the mask he was wearing. And he feels like they really lost respect for him. The weird thing is the whole crew likes who he is, and they don't have a problem with anything he does, and they accept him just the way he is. After all that, Septimus still refuses to give up. He hits the young man he has with him, and he steals his horse and runs away. At the same time, Tristan finds out they have 2 days of walking to get to the wall, and that means he won't make it to Victoria's birthday, and he gets really sad. Suddenly, they see a carriage in front of them, and the same evil witch is in it, and she sees her flower attached to his jacket. So she runs up to him, and she tells him that flower belongs to her. And of course, he's super confused, and he tells her it's a gift from his mom to his dad. He offers her the flower in exchange for taking them to the wall, or giving them a candle so they can travel. She agrees real easy, and she shocks him after she takes the flower. She tells him it's a charm that protects against any evil witch, and before he can process what happened, she turns him into a squirrel in seconds. And Yvain tries to resist in every way she can, but sadly, since she's in control of the evil witch, Yvain can't do anything at all, and she has to go with her. She takes Tristan, and she tries to calm him down, and she promises him she'll help him, and she keeps feeding him and taking care of him the whole way. And she tells him she loves Earth so much, because the way humans relate to each other is strange and different, and she admits she loves him, and she doesn't want to be away from him. In the end, they get to the place they wanted, and the witch turns him back to normal again. And it takes him a little while to be able to stand on his feet, and Yvain takes him to a place to rest. And he admits to her he heard everything she was saying while he was transformed, and he's also really into her. The next morning, he wakes up before her, and he quietly leaves. He leaves her a note with the hotel owner, and he tells her he's going to go see Victoria and come right back. At that time, Lamia and Septimus manage to find their location, and each of them tries to get there before the other. When Yvain wakes up, she's shocked to find out he left, and she gets really sad. So she decides to go look for him, and by chance, her mom sees her, and she tries to stop her no matter what, but sadly she can't because she's still tied up in the same spot because of the magic. So she tries to protect her son in every way she can. After that, Tristan gets to Victoria's house, and she's super surprised when she feels he's changed, and he's confident now. He tells her he came to keep his promise to her, and he gives her a lock of Yvain's hair, and he admits to her that he found his true love, and he's gonna be away from her forever. Suddenly, her fiancé shows up, and he challenges him like the last time, and of course, Tristan doesn't care about them, and he wants to leave so he can catch up to Yvain. All of a sudden, the lock of hair turns into ashes, and he's shocked, and he realizes that Yvain can't cross the wall because she might die, and the star can't walk in the human world without someone who loves her by her side, and he feels like she's in danger, and he runs fast to catch up to her. At the same time, Yvain is on her way to the wall, and she doesn't know her life is in danger, and Tristan, his mom, and Lamia go after her, and each of them is going in a different direction. His mom gets there first, and she tries to help her, and she convinces her that she can't cross. But unfortunately, the witch gets there, and she pulls her away by force, and Lamia gets there right after, and they all face each other, and a big fight breaks out between the witches, and the witch dies in the end. And of course, the magic is undone on his mom, and she's free now, and she can move. Suddenly, Lamia ties both of them up, and she takes them with her by force, and the guard sees everything that's happening from afar, and he tells Tristan as soon as he gets there. So Tristan quickly grabs the flower from the carriage, and he gets on the horse, and he goes after them. A little while later, Septimus gets there too, and he goes in the same direction. Lamia gets them to her house, and she finds her sisters waiting for her. They're super happy, and they get ready to start the rituals. No one knows that Tristan and Septimus are watching everything from the window, and the weird thing is they both agree to team up because they want the same thing, and they actually come up with a plan, and they start doing it. Septimus attacks the house, And he's shocked when he sees his sister Una inside, and she's Tristan's mom, and he's so happy because she's been missing for years. And that's how he starts standing up to the witches. And Una tells her son the whole story in detail, and Septimus keeps fighting. And he manages to set one of them on fire, and he gets rid of her. And when it's Mormo's turn, Lamia stops her, and she starts doing black magic to control him and paralyze him. And she makes him stand against Tristan, and she moves him around just like a toy. And in the end, he can't fight back, and he dies like the rest of his brothers. Then it's Tristan's turn, and his mom encourages him, and she reminds him that he has great power inside him, but he doesn't feel it, and he has to give himself a chance to see that power. Tristan thinks smart, and without any trouble or effort, he frees all the animals they had, and they've been locked up for so long because of them. And they start attacking the witches, and they finish them all off real brutally. Even when Lamia tries to kill him, the flower he has protects him, and she knows she can't beat him. So she starts fighting him with a sword, and a fierce battle breaks out between them. And Tristan uses everything he learned on the ship and all the fighting skills, and he manages to beat her real easy in the end. The weird thing is she pretends to cry and give up, and she keeps crying until he leaves her alone. And in the end, he falls into her trap, and it turns out she did all that just so Yvaine's heart stays intact, so she can take it in the end. And she suddenly attacks them. And before she can hurt any of them, Yvaine starts showing all her power, especially after she found true love. And a powerful light comes out of her, and it creates a huge explosion that destroys everything around them. In the end, Tristan stays with Yvaine and his mom, and as soon as he touches the stone, it turns red. And that means he's the new heir to the throne. And the ghosts of the 4 princes are all freed, and they die in peace. Tristan takes the throne a few days later, and everyone gathers at the party, including the people outside the wall. Even Victoria's there, and she's super happy for him. And Tristan rules the country for 80 years, and he makes people live in peace with each other without any evil. And that's where our story ends today. Wait for me for new videos and summaries. Peace out.